What spirits rule would I break in the name of experimentation?
I don't break laws. It's not right.
In the name of experimentation, there are lots of laws and rules in place for distilled spirits, and they are there for a good reason. This is an industry that at its genesis really was the Wild Wild West, and a lot of people did not fare so well in that landscape. I mean, they said all kinds of crazy stuff to whiskey and call it whiskey. It's good that we have rules and parameters. I don't really have any laws right now that I would like to break or bend as far as innovation is concerned. And my personal palate tends to lean a little bit sweeter, so the idea of breaking something such as with bourbon, you can't go into the barrel any higher than 125. But what if you did? Well, personally, I don't think that I would be into it, because the lower you go in, the more sugar you grab onto right away, you're gonna end up with a little bit of a sweeter note at the finish. So I would like to see us enter the barrel a little bit lower for Old Forester, just to play around with it, to be honest with you. There's great whiskey all over the world being made in all different ways, and I think that the rules that are protecting bourbon as they stand right now are doing their job, so I'm gonna stick with that.
There's a few things we, not necessarily breaking the rules on purpose, but we believe things are important. We have beliefs about whiskey, and one of them is transparency. We really believe in kind of being open with the consumer, the guy who's drinking our whiskey. They should be able to know how we've made it. I mean, Christ, that's what we want to talk about as well. You know, how we've made it, the cask we've used, the spirit we've used, the barley, where does it come from, who grew it, you know, when was it harvested, all these kind of things. It's being transparent and being open and actually understanding those flavors in a glass. If you have all the information to hand and you can understand those flavors at a deeper level, you get this amazing connection to the whiskey. So I think that the idea that we want to be transparent, we'll give you the recipe to some of our products. Maybe we've kind of sailed close to the wind on that one in terms of breaking rules, but I think we certainly toe the line now. But it's unusual in the industry to give away that kind of level of information. So, but if I could break any rule, I would be very interested to work with different types of wood. Of course, with making whiskey in Scotland, we're restricted to using oak. I would be quite interested to try different varieties of wood to mature spirit and see how that develops. I think that would add another layer to really explore. So that would be something I would quite like to do.
The one thing I would like to try is different types of cask. In Scotch whisky, you can have any cask you want as long as it's oak. I'd like to try different woods. I want to see what cherry would do, walnut, elm, ash, all these sorts of things. If I could get casks of different types of wood, that would probably be the one rule I would try and break from Scotch whisky, just to give me a little bit more to experiment with.
I'd like to experiment over time with larger size casks and different materials for creating different rates and types of oxidation in whiskey to create flavor. I know it's crazy.
The first one that comes to mind is the idea of gin being majority juniper, which is such a subjective rule anyways. I think so many folks are really pushing the edge of that now. Co-fermentation is probably the most exciting rule to break, right? The idea of fermenting like grain and fruit together. Don't know what you would call it, but it sounds delicious.
You know, at the end of the day, that experimentation, that creativity is at the very core and the essence of who and what Fused Spirits is. Now that said, I'm also very strenuously or forcefully believe that the consumer should be getting what they think they're getting. You know, I'm a very staunch proponent of truth in labeling, truth in marketing, truth in everything. I very much am going to tell you exactly what's in the bottle. We're not going to label something that says bourbon if it's not bourbon. But I would not say there's any rules out there that we are not willing to break in this name of experimentation. The rules are made to be broken. I've got teenagers. Rules are made to be broken.